So hello students, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we are going to discuss about the concept of demand. Before proceeding further, I hope you are very well aware about that we have already uploaded so many topics of economics. If you have missed any, the links of the videos are given in description. Kindly go and check. So in today's lecture, basically we are going to cover what demand is. Normally, students get confused in regards to the basic terms of demand, desire, wants, and needs. They consider that it is one and the same thing. But after watching this lecture, you will be very much clear about the concepts of demand, desire, wants, and need. So let us understand with the help of certain examples that what demand is. So whenever I say the word demand, it needs to have certain features in that, then we can consider it that it is a demand concept. Let me give you an example. You want to buy a car, but not having the purchasing power to buy that car. It means that is not a demand, that is just your desire. You want to have a car, but not able to because you are not having the purchasing power. You are not backed with the amount that need to pay to buy a car. In the same way, maybe you are having a money to buy a car, but you do not want to buy the car. That is also not a demand. So, when we combine these two factors, that is, want to buy the car and having the ability to buy the car, you are willing to sacrifice the money to buy a car for buying a car, and you also have the purchasing power to buy the car. That clubbed together will make the concept of demand. So when a person says that I want a particular thing, that person desire a particular thing, then it is not a demand. When a person is saying I am having a purchasing power but I don't want to buy that particular product, that is also not a demand. So when both merge together, that makes the concept of demand. So what is written over here? Just look. Demand for a product is the quantity that purchasers are willing and able to buy at a given price. At a particular point of a price, at a particular point of a time, you are having the purchasing power and you are willing to sacrifice the money to buy that particular product. So, this complete term is known as the demand. And reference to time period and reference to price is very important because price decides whether you are having the purchasing power or not having the purchasing power, and time period decides at what particular time what will be the price in the market. Maybe in the morning the price will be high, maybe in night or at evening time the price of a product is low, as it happens with the vegetables because they are perishable. When they are fresh in the market in the morning time, the price is normally high. So time period plays the important role. Time period decides the price of the product, and price of product decides your purchasing power as well as willingness to sacrifice. So in short, whenever you are going to refer demand, demand is nothing. It is the ability and willingness to buy a particular product at a particular point of a time at a particular price. So only if demand is backed up by willingness and ability to pay the market price, does demand becomes effective? It is a kind of a question mark. Only if demand is backed up by a willingness and ability to pay the market price, does demand becomes effective? No. Here, two things which are important are missing. What's that? The time period for which time you are referring and the price that you have to pay. So although price they have considered, but time also need to be considered to make a particular thing as a demand concept. So in short, we can say that we have two types of demand. One is notional demand, notional demand, and the second one is effective demand. So effective demand is nothing. It is the demand which is backed up by ability to pay, willingness to pay, and the desire to buy that product. You want a particular product, you are having the ability to pay for that product, and you are also ready to pay the money. Then it becomes effective demand. If any of the element is missing, then it will be recognized as notional demand. Means that is not a effective demand. Maybe you are having the ability to pay, you are also ready to pay, but you do not want that product in your life. You are not having a desire to buy that product. So presence of all these three elements are very essential to make a demand as an effective demand. Then we also have the concept of demand, means when we are referring the time period and price of the product, we have to consider other things constant. That is known as ceteris paribus. We have already done this. Ceteris paribus is basically means other things are constant. But why we want to make other things as constant? Simply to study the relation between price and demand. We have to consider that other things are constant. Otherwise, it will be very difficult for us to identify the behavior of demand with reference to the price, because demand is not only get affected by price, it is also affected by other things like income of the consumer, taste and preference, future expected price, price of related products like substitute and complementary. So there are other factors which affects the demand. But just to study the relation between demand and price, we are considering ceteris paribus, means other things will remain constant. The income of the consumer, the taste and preference of the consumer is going to be remain constant. There will be no change in that. Then only we are able to study the relation between demand. So the concept of demand says economist measures the quantity demanded of a particular goods or services at a ceteris price, means at a certain price over certain period of a time, and for that particular time period we have to consider other things are constant. Next we have the three ways of presenting demand relationship. Means we have to study the relation between at what price, at what time period, how much quantity are being demanded by a consumer, because at different time period the prices of a product will be different, and that different price affect differently for the consumers. And normally it is said higher the price, lower will be the demand, lower the price, higher will be the demand. As a rational consumer, as a rational consumer, every consumer behave in the same way. Means if price is low, if price of the product is reducing, demand is going to increase. And if price of a product is increasing, demand will definitely decrease. So that is inverse relation, negative relation, opposite relation. So to show that relation between price and demand, we have three different ways of presenting. First is demand schedule, that is tabular presentation. We show the price in one column, we shows the quantity demanded in another column. Second, we can also draw a demand curve, which is a graphical or diagrammatical presentation, and that shows the relation between price and quantity demand. We show price on y-axis and quantity demand on x-axis of the graph. Last but not the least is demand function in the form of equation. We can also show the demand relation with the price in the form of equation. So we are going to do all these in detail. Let's first talk about demand schedule. Demand schedule is nothing. It shows the demand by a consumer in the market at particular point of time at different prices, because at different point of a time price will be different. So they have taken the example of demand schedule for denim pants. So this is the price which is increasing from 10 to 400. So this is a tabular presentation of demand known as demand schedule. With reference to each price, the demand is different. And as price increases, demand decreases. Slowly and gradually, the demand is decreasing. So at a price of 10, demand is highest, 50, 7, 100, 6. So as price is increasing, the demand for the denim pants are decreasing. So this is what the relation, and how we presented that relation in the form of table, and that table is known as demand schedule or schedule, whatever you want to pronounce it. In the same way, we can use this data to present this data in the form of graph, like here. So we have demand curve, that is second way of presenting the relation between price and quantity demand on y-axis, that is this vertical axis. We are going to take the price of denims, and on x-axis, that is horizontal here, we are going to take the quantity. So when price is 0, the demand is 400. When the sorry when price is 400, demand is 0. Yeah, it means no one is willing to buy any uh, denim pant when the price is 400. So it is started from here. When the price is 400, demand is 0. First point. Similarly, we just have to draw the table in the form of graph. When the price is 10, demand is 8. Okay. When the price is 10 means exactly they have taken the difference of 100. We can think about here. At very lower point, the demand is 8. So joining all this will makes you the demand curve, which is downward sloping. This is downward sloping. Why? Because the relation between price and demand is negative. That is why it is a downward sloping curve. So we just have to draw the table in the form of graph, and using that we can draw second presentation, that is demand curve. The next we have is demand in the form of equation. So how we present the demand in the form of equation? It is just quantity demand for, let's say, product X is equals to autonomous demand minus slope of demand curve multiplied by price of the product. So using this equation, we can find the demand at different price level. But for that, we need to know the autonomous demand. What is autonomous demand? It's nothing, just when the price of a product is 0, how much we are demanding. Means the highest possible demand in the market. Obviously, no product is going to have a 0 price. But if the price of a product is 0, what will be the highest demand? So this autonomous demand minus slope. How we will find the slope of demand curve? It depends upon change in quantity upon change in price. Means you have to find, you need to have two quantities and two price at least, then only you are able to find the slope of demand curve. So you can take any example. We are not going to solve any practical right now. We are just understanding what equation is it. Then P means the price at which the product is available in the market, the original price. So this whole equation will help you to drive the demand or find out the demand for a particular product. So that's for all today. I hope this lecture will help you to understand what demand is, what are the types of demand, and how we present the demand. If you like the video, do hit the like button, subscribe our channel, and share the videos with your friends.